Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and in this video, I'm asking, can you overthink music? As a lot of you know on this channel, I'm kind of obsessed with music, and it's sort of my job to talk about it and review it on a regular basis, but because of that, can I, or can you, as someone who watches this channel, overthink music? Should we not take it so seriously? Is it just entertainment? Because there are tons of scientific studies out there that explore the impact that music has on the mind, the link between neuroscience and music. So because of things like this, is it worth thinking more in depth about the things we put in our ears? To talk about this, I've invited Hannah, MK, and D. Respect, two YouTubers who are just as musically obsessed with me, talk about music on their respective channels. I have linked down there in the description box to them. You can watch them, subscribe to them, and I've put some information down there that you might find interesting as well if you are stimulated by this topic. Transition! Okay, so now we're here, magic of the internet, webcams, all that. Considering that the three of us all talk about music on YouTube on a regular basis, I could only assume that music has impacted our lives in some kind of significant way, and maybe because of that, we tend to take it really serious, and we get some kind of emotional or mental depth from it, but does that cause us to overthink it sometimes?
When it comes to overthinking music, to be honest, I only overthink when I'm reviewing music, but then when it comes to how powerful it is in society or in the music world, that's kind of something that flies over my head. So I don't know how you guys feel about how powerful music is in society, what kind of effects it has on people,
I think as content creators, what we tend to do is we sort of have to overanalyze the music in order to find interesting perspectives on it. And I think in the course of that, what happens is maybe we accentuate and we magnify certain points too much, and maybe the cultural impact that the music has on society isn't as great, but I guess maybe in our minds we want to make it out to be that way, sort of, I think. I mean, like you take, for example, just the whole thug rap or just the gangster movement. If I review an artist, like say a Chief Keef or something like that, and I find something very analytical to say about his music, most people would just say, well, Chief Keef's music isn't meant to be this whole heady thing. It's just meant to be enjoyed, So because I'm a content creator, it's sort of an internet thing where I'm just thinking of music just as headphone music, really, instead of just really what it should be is just club music that I shouldn't be overthinking, I guess.
There's music out there that obviously the three of us get a lot of emotional depth from, we get a lot of mental depth from, we feel like we can read into the production and read into the lyrics and read into a lot of things about it and sort of interpret these various things in different ways, and they sort of gain meaning for us, even if it's just some kind of personal significance. But obviously, I'm sure the three of us also have definitions of music that we would think deeply about and we wouldn't think deeply about.
I'll tell you this, with regard to Kendrick Lamar, where the overanalyzation can hurt us is a song, for example, Swimming Pools. And when Swimming Pools came out, and I just heard a bunch of people saying that this is a deep and introspective look at the downfalls of alcoholism.
Alcohol, yeah, sure.
And I don't think that the song was intended to be anything close to that. And I don't know if Kendrick himself is, commented about it. Maybe there's a Rap Genius annotation out there that maybe I could look at.
You say you don't believe that Swimming Pools was about alcohol. I personally believe it was, but someone else would say. So what would you say your explanation of Swimming Pools is?
I would say
alcohol,
but go on.
No, it's obviously about drinking, but I just mean that I just mean in the sense that people say like it's a
deep and introspective.
Yeah, it's deep and obviously with the lyrics and what he's saying, but I think that goes into the artist there, and maybe we're making it out to be more than what it is.
Because he's Kendrick,
because he's Kendrick Lamar. And
yeah, I get that. Point. So would you say the interpretation of music or interpretation of a song has a lot to do with who the song is coming from?
I think it definitely does because people
Yeah,
interpret much of everything by context, you know, and who
yeah,
the song
yeah,
is coming from is so heavily dependent on, I mean, it has everything to do with the context. We sort of agree that there is music that maybe you shouldn't analyze so deeply and, you know, it's sort of meant just simply for entertainment. But is
yeah.
there a way that you could sort of reconcile these differences and sort of have artists of two different flavors, like, on your top 10 list and say, you know what, this person isn't saying anything deep per se, but I
Yeah.
think this album is fantastic anyway.
Yeah, I would say definitely. In my top, was it 15 mixtapes?
Mm.
I had Ty Dolla Sign in one of my top 15 mixtapes video. And to me, majority of the people I've spoken to, Ty Dolla Sign is not the kind of person who's taken very seriously, content and music wise. But to me, he just makes good music, which is good to listen to. So I think I can put the really good and the really deep mixtape with the kind of fun and party mixtape in my top 15, and I just couldn't overanalyze his lyrics. It was just a matter of, audio, like how good it sounds. So I think I can reconcile the two and put them in the same category.
You know, you mentioned 2013 albums, and say for example what Gambino did,
Yeah,
with doing the screenplay, and he also did Clapping for the Wrong Reasons, that little short that he did before
the
that.
video. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think just recently he released Chicken and Futility, and and I think what he's basically doing is he's trying to turn his album into more of an experience, maybe to sort of combat people pirating his music or anybody else's music. And I think that if technology keeps going in the direction that it's going, artists have to keep challenging that wave, and with that comes maybe another short story, another screenplay, and that will definitely cause us to overanalyze the meaning of everything. Because Anthony, I think you mentioned in your review of Because the Internet, you said you didn't really find the real introspection in the character of the boy. You just sort of felt like he was just he was just depressive, and you saw no value in his character. But a lot of people would tend to disagree with that because there's so much interpretations that you can draw from what he did.
Most of the time when we overthink music, we're sort of doing it by our own decision. You know, we're like, okay, there's something on this album that after listening to it multiple times, it's causing gears to turn up here, and I'm thinking, about how everything on this record is coming together. Whereas with this Gambino album, because of the script and because of the movies and because of the videos and because of all the buzz that came out before we even listened to the record, we were expecting or already being invited by the artist to overthink the album.
But how much of an audience is there in the hip hop society for artists like Gambino to have his music overthought and dissected? Because with music dropping all the time, how many people or what kind of audience can he really grab with that method? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
No, I mean, I hear you. I mean, I think, artists like Gambino and Kendrick Lamar do, definitely try to make music that invite the listener to think deeply about what's going on. But, they also understand that there's kind of a double-edged sword to that. You might have a really passionate cult following behind your album, but if you don't have a strong single on that, and I feel like Kendrick tried to do that with Swimming Pools. I feel like he tried to do that with that track, The Recipe with Dr. Dre, even though that was like a bonus track, but, teasing up to the release of the album. And I feel like Gambino understood that as well by putting out 305.
3005, yeah.
The album, because he knew that he needed to have a single, whether the album was deep or not.
Personally, how much of an impact do you really believe music to have on society?
The issue here isn't music, it's what's going on outside of music, and as long as it's going on, just like you said, music's just going to continue to replicate and to mirror the images that we see out there. And it's not like the same that it used to be where who made that famous, I don't know if it was Ice Cube or something, that we're the CNN of the ghetto. And somebody from NWA must have said it.
Someone from
maybe
NWA.
Eazy said it, I'm not sure. But it's not that anymore, because the message is already out, the numbers are out, we know the death rates in each city, and it's really at this point just a reminder, really. And should we take it that seriously? I don't think so, because I think
I don't think so either.
it's really an old and outmoded issue. You know, the whole relation that that negative music has on society, and I'm sort of desensitized to it because I'm here in the city, maybe, and that might not be the best answer, but it's the most truthful one, I think.
I think just a vast amount of people are listening to music for entertainment. They take it as entertainment. They know that they don't, and I think if there's any kind of major sea change that comes with artists like Little B, for example, you know, people are invited to listen to his music, think deeply about it, but also simultaneously not feel the pressure to take themselves, take him, take everything so seriously.
Yeah.
And even though a lot of people find it annoying, and I understand why, you know, but it's also sort of a breath of fresh air, like, hey, listen, like, here's something that you can listen to. We're not going to force you to think it's good or it's bad.
Absolutely.
Just like, you know, just come on in, just be in on the joke, and just whatever, you know.
And thank him by the time you're done with it. Just thank him, most importantly.
Just thank him, exactly. By the time it's over, thank him. Okay, so we're gonna leave it at that. Thank you, Bass God. Also, thank you, Hannah, for coming by, and
thank you for having me.
Segment. Thank you, D. Dot, for coming by.
Thank you for having me, sir.
I disagree with that sign, but I'm just.
What's that? What does that say? Hold on.
Don't listen to this guy.
Just don't listen to me.
I will put links down there in the description where you can check out each of their YouTube channels and Overthinking Music, The Needle Drop, Hannah, D. Dot, forever.